Well, everybody, welcome back to the Gentleman's Bureau for episode 58. I am once again joined with my co-stars, Mark Rowe, Elaine Miller. We had a potential guest coming on today. He's got a busy life like the rest of us, going to school, got a band. He's a busy guy. But stay tuned. You'll recognize him if you've been a long-time fan. He'll be on in a couple weeks or two, maybe 3 months. I don't know. We'll work with his schedule. We got time. We'll be locked
He's a
in our
rock
doors
star.
for the next 3 years anyway. Who cares? We'll get to it when we get to it. How are
Yep.
you guys doing amid the continued COVID restrictions?
Oh, that's the thing for you guys.
I
I'm
didn't know
good.
that was even a thing. I'm all right.
I mean, I keep seeing the signs and I keep ignoring them, but they're still up.
Really?
Yeah, I ignore everything. If I see a mask thing, I just walk in and no one says anything. So like, if we all just
No.
rise up, we
I
get
keep. I took my dad shopping today, and every time we got to a new store, he'd be like, "Oh heck, we need to get masks." And I was like, "No, Dad, just don't put it on until somebody asks you to." And then nobody would ask us to at all.
Yep.
And it was great. I was like, "See, Dad, they got to put it up for legal reasons, but they understand that it's your choice not to put it on."
Wow, damn. Freedom in the air. Everybody can get it now.
Except in Canada.
hmm
Canada still got some problems. Did you guys see that shit about the truckers?
Oh yeah,
I barely. I was just hoping you
I've just
would
watched
explain.
videos, but I
Yeah.
don't know the whole. I know like a lot of people are saying like he's scared or something. He's like leaving the country, Trudeau. But I don't
He
know.
was moved out of the official residence, that's for sure. Other than
Really?
that, I don't know. Yeah, they did move him out. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police moved him out of his official residence.
They threw
Ooh,
him
sorry,
on
guys,
the
I'm a
back
little.
of the moose. Got
Yeah,
him out of
That's
there.
awesome though. We can make a change to where politicians are scared. That's like pretty fucking solid in my book.
yeah, but yeah. So basically, the whole thing is like they're mandating that all their truckers get vaccinated and submit to like a lot of ridiculous testing and shit, and like they have to like when they go through the Providence border, they have to do all these like weird checks, and they're like, "Are you vaccinated? Can I see your driver's license?" They need all this information all of a sudden that like they didn't used to have to give, and it's like personal like medical information that you shouldn't have to give. So they were like, you know what? Let's just all drive to the Capitol and let them know that we're not going to stand for this. And a lot of other people jumped on board with them. You know, there's like random people were like, I support everything you do. I'll come too. So you see like a sea of semis and then a pickup truck here, sedan there, a few more pickup trucks, mostly pickup trucks and
Interesting.
Yeah.
semis. Yeah,
Some
so
old
they went,
ladies making cookies.
oh, that'd be awesome. Just
Yeah,
on the
she
road for
like
days.
there's a post of some old lady. She's like, just making cookies for the truckers. I'm like, that's awesome.
Well, they're
Yes.
Canadian cookies too, so they're full of maple syrup, and I bet they're delicious.
Are you thirsty, bro?
Yeah. Gotta
Fuck
get
you,
that water in
Christ.
there.
Just picked up the entire
What?
Atlantic Ocean to take a sip. My God. Leave some
That's
for the
game.
fish. Jesus.
Did you guys see that shit about Neil Young and Spotify and Joe Rogan?
No.
Oh,
No.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Neil Young was like, if you don't take down, he like basically told Spotify, he's like, it's either me or Joe Rogan. And Spotify's like, all right, and they took off Neil Young from Spotify. It's like, oh fuck yeah, dude. And like,
That's hilarious.
what kind of pull does he think he has? Like, I think he's just like, he's 1 foot in the grave, and he's like, I need to get some attention. It's like you got the
What was
opposite,
his-
sir.
No,
was
he,
the
he
fucking-
probably thought he had some pull though. He probably is like, I'm a music. People know me. And it's like
Yeah.
nobody under 40 knows you, sir.
I know him.
Like-
I know Neil Young.
Well, okay. Nobody under
He-
25 knows you, sir. Like realistically, who knows Neil Young is like the older generation who's not on Spotify.
Do you know why I
Right.
know Neil Young?
Your dad.
No. Because Sweet Home Alabama, they say, I hope Neil Young will remember. A Southern
Oh.
man don't need him around anyhow. Because he used to be one of their singers, and they're like, we're tired of your fucking antics, dude. You're not Leonard
Yeah, well-
Skinner. You're a part of Leonard Skinner. And they're like, get the fuck out.
Nice.
Was he really a part? I did not know that.
It did not last long.
We can
Yeah.
we can tell that.
Yeah. At least
I just thought
said
it was so fucking cool.
as my memory serves. I might be wrong. I don't know. Short disclaimer there.
Sure, this could all be fabricated in my head somehow.
Facts.
I mean-
Or, somebody I trust to tell me true stuff told me something and it wasn't actually true. And I was like, oh, well, you usually tell me the truth. Why would you lie now?
Hey Siri,
Somebody believed it.
was Neil Young in Leonard Skinner?
Okay, I found this on the web for was Neil Young in Lynyrd Skinner. Check it out.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, well. It's wrong again.
Well, I hope
They hated
hope
each other,
Neil
though,
Young will remember
so.
that Spotify don't need him around anyhow.
Facts.
Facts.
So what started the whole animosity with Joe Rogan, though?
Because
I don't
Joe's
know. I mean,
too cool for school. I think.
Neil Young, like, he's gone off his shit. Like, he's off his rocker, and he's like super like liberal as fuck. And I don't know. He thought that he could reach people that way. I don't know. He was just. I think it was like a desperate cry for attention.
Yeah.
So,
So he was just sitting in
which
his basement
sucks.
like,
I mean, he made some. It's funny because like there's a song, and it's the lyrics are I was lying in a burned out basement. So that's funny. He just said that. But
so yeah, he's
yeah,
just chilling in his burned
I
out
think he-
basement and he's like, who can I start beef with to get some more views? And he went for Joe Rogan.
The hottest
Yes, dude.
dude on the market right now, right?
I guess. I don't know.
yeah, but fuck yeah, dude. I mean, he's like the number one media outlet, I guess, or he's like the number one independent media guy, and he's beating like everybody.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it someone probably like in the media told some artist to do something like, aren't you mad? Joe Rogan's beating you. Spotify is for music. Neil
Right.
Young's probably like, it was probably some leftist fucking probably CNN or something. He's like, yeah, that's right. I am a fucking artist. What the fuck? So they're like, yeah, let's get the senile old man to do something. Not. Spotify's like, okay, well, just take your shit off. That's fine.
Yeah. You remember how like whenever anything was like new or popular, a lot of TV shows or outlets would jump all over it. Like, oh yeah, we're a part of this too. I'm waiting for like CNN to like pop up, and everybody has a shaved head. They're all talking about jujitsu. They're all talking about HGH. They're like, hey, have you guys taken mushrooms yet today? They're all
Yeah.
smoking dope. Just trying to be like Joe Rogan because he's blowing them out of the water.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
It's it's just so obvious, so evident. I also like, just to go back on the trucker, the convoy for Canada. There was like this stupid news reporter or this, I guess it was a news page, whatever. They were like, lots of truckers are driving in the snow to show how much snow there is, or something stupid. And I was like, God, you guys can't cover up anything. Like, we have the internet. Like, I think they're so fucking oblivious to like how news is spread through like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They don't get
Twitter.
it. They're like, they think they can get away with just like telling us lies. It's like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do it. Like, you're making more people not trust you. Like, congratulations. Why don't you just be honest and be like, truckers are mad because they're have to get this and that. It's like, why don't you just say that instead of fucking
Like, report the fucking news. That's your job. Report the news.
Yeah. Well, they report it, but they just put their own twist on it. So
Yeah.
Oh, everybody does though. I think
Yeah, but
we're
to
getting
that
away from
extent-
that with independent media though, which is really nice.
yeah, and like our generation, we've grown up kind of. We never really watched the news. I would say. I mean, our
Mhm.
parents did, right? But that was their version of
Yeah.
YouTube videos and like
Yeah.
Just that was their news. That's the only way they could do it, right? And that's why in the past there was a singularity, and it was like they would regurgitate the same shit. You would change the channel, and it would be like the same shit. And it's like they all like there was a scary little video I watched where like all like a bunch of news stations reported
Yeah.
the same news and they used the same lines, like little catchy lines. And it's like, who fed them that? Who is running this whole show?
Yeah.
Now it's like, nah, we're awakening. So it's like I love it.
Yeah, I used to watch the news for one reason and one reason only. That was to see if school was canceled for snow day. Other than that, my parents only really watched it for the weather. But other than that, they didn't really, they weren't sitting there watching like, all the little stories and stuff that they feed us. But like they'd be like, "Got to catch the weather at 6:30."
Yeah.
And they'd be like, off, back to cartoons or whatever the heck you want to watch, or HGTV.
Yeah.
My parents always watch the news. Uh, they also weren't the kind of people that only like watched one news channel though. So I think that was a little bit better. They'd watch like 3 different news channels, even if they were all reporting on the same thing, because they're all going to come at it at a different angle. So you can take a little bit of information from this one, a little bit from that one,
Yeah.
come up with your own kind of like. At least you'll get the truth, whether if you can see past like how they skew it, towards this side or that side, you'll get the truth in the end if you can see past those things. So, yeah. I mean, we always just had kind of like, oh, if there's nothing on, just the TV was always on kind of in my house.
Yeah.
So the news was just go to, like, leave it on, something will pop up. We'll be in and out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, and weather, so.
Well,
You always gotta-
speaking of news, Mark, you're going to talk to us about the Russian front, right?
Oh, yeah. You guys have been paying attention to the news on that or no? Like,
No,
Not really.
really?
I'm just waiting for the letter, the draft letter. Honestly,
I have Mark Rowe for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have
keeping
Zach
up
Rowe.
with that news, so I'm like,
I'll
he'll
keep
tell
you
me.
up to date daily, guys. Because
That's right.
I used to never really care about anything that our military was doing or any other military was doing until I moved here to Okinawa, and then I was like, the base is here, and then I started like realizing through maybe watching the news and then just like people talk, and realize like, oh, this isn't like this is kind of a target sitting out here in the ocean here some days. And yeah, then I started paying attention to the news, and I've been really paying attention to this whole Russia thing right now because it feels like Russia is like America's weak. We can do whatever we want now, right?
He's not wrong, right?
Not
Yeah,
really.
that's what it seems like. So if you don't know, Russia has close to or about 100,000 troops stationed around the border of Ukraine. Ukraine used to be Russian with the Soviet Union and everything. They were kind of brought in as a satellite state. And now that they're kind of buddy-buddy with the rest of Europe and America, Russia's super pissed off, and they don't want them to join NATO, which they weren't going to anytime soon because they have too much corruption in their politics and they have to straighten things out. That's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they sold like they like basically took our weaponry, our aircraft shit, and they like sold it to China or something. They basically like they fucked us in some way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So that's why NATO's like, you guys can suck a dick.
Yeah. I mean, because like they were getting buddy with America before, that's whenever Russia went in and invaded them the first time back in 2014. And now they took quite a large chunk of land from them, like a little peninsula. And
You mean Crimea?
yes, Crimea. It's like a state and a peninsula and everything. Like Florida.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Ukraine's Florida. Russia took it.
I wanna see the articles that are called Crimea Man. For sure.
Crimean man tells the Russians to go fucking suck a duck.
Suck a duck, yes. So
He's sent to Siberia for life.
exactly. Oh Jesus. So the Russians are. I lost my train of thought. The Russians have just amassed a giant force of troops, right? They're working with their neighbors Belarus, who are in the Russian sphere of influence, and they have a ridiculous amount of troops in Belarus, which borders the northern east of Ukraine. They're all along the eastern Ukraine border that borders Russia, and they're even in the Black Sea, which is like southeast of Ukraine. So they have them surrounded on three sides. It's not looking good, and
I've been in the Black Sea actually.
you have metal.
Yeah, when I was deployed to Bulgaria and Romania.
Nice.
We may or may not have been doing some surveillance shit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Eh.
Things happen.
Elaine, you were what was your like MOS? You were like in communications, right?
I can't disclose my. No, I was security forces.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, you wouldn't actually be doing the do. You'd be making sure the people that are doing the do are doing the do safely.
Mhm.
Nice.
Access to some informations.
So you were like OSHA, but for the military.
Nice.
Nope, no. Try again. I think the Air Force does have its own safety.
Wait a
people.
minute. So you were like a bodyguard for soldiers?
I was never put on PSD duty. So, aircraft, base, certain assets, let's just say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Some cool
Okay.
shit that, like, not a lot of people know about.
Ooh.
All right. There he goes, drinking the Atlantic again.
Salty.
It's good.
Okay, so yeah,
Aerated a
so
bit.
right now this has been going on since like December, right? Russia's been building up all these troops. They've said they've just been running exercises. Exercises could escalate into full-on conflict any second from the look of it. Just for instance, last time they ran exercises with Belarus, running military drills with the two neighboring militaries, right? They sent was it 20 trains of like not 20 box trucks, I'm talking like 20 full trains full of equipment to work together with, okay? This time they sent 200 trains full of equipment to
That's
work
a
How
lot.
many
with.
carts per train?
I have no idea how many carts, but I assume they're probably like maximum amount of carts, so maybe 200 carts per train or something. Maybe even more. Who knows? There might be some scary Siberian trains that are ridiculously huge, fit like 20 tanks on. Who knows?
Wild.
So, because of that, they've been having a lot of talks with America, telling America, these are our demands as far as like you can't be friends with Ukraine no more. Get out of here. This is our playground. You need to pull Poland and Romania out of NATO. You need to go back like to before the 90s NATO, basically. You need to get out of the Balkans, which is like Latvia and that kind of area up by Finland. Yeah, so they're making a lot of demands. America's obviously not going to concede on those ones. They have talked about, okay, you don't want, we'll mutually talk about disclosing our exercises. Like, if we're gonna have a drill, we'll just let you know that we're gonna have one, and we'll keep it like limited size kind of thing. As long as you do the same thing in the European area. Russia is like kind of okay with that one, but then they also want like no more missiles in Eastern Europe kind of thing too, which we really don't have. Like we don't have offensive missiles there. We have defensive missiles, and they can't
Yeah,
be
like,
used as offensive missiles. Like you can't just like throw a defensive missile at the enemy. It doesn't make any sense. So that's like one of their demands. And then we have like some outdated bombs there, like super outdated bombs that are like gravity nukes or something like that. Something you have to drop from a helicopter. And they're small nuclear bombs. They're super outdated, and they should have been like disposed of back in the 70s, I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
But so that's another thing that they want out of there, which would be easy for us to concede, and maybe they'll back down, I hope. But I think we might be escalating everything because good old Sleepy Joe is like, oh, we're going to send 8,500 troops into like Poland, Romania area to like back up our Eastern NATO alliances. I think there's like a couple other troops from a couple different places in NATO also going over there, like England, things like that. Russia ain't doing shit. I mean, not Russia. Germany ain't doing shit. Like, and everybody was dogging them for that. And then they were like, okay, we'll send 500 helmets to Ukraine to help them out because we're not going to send any weapons. Which I kind of get it. I kind of don't really get it, but they sent helmets. Now they're getting dogged on for that. It's a really big shit show, guys, over there. If you don't know, I really suggest like. I can't keep up with everything and tell you everything to you guys because it's happening so fast. And they admit it, like, this could kick off to a full-on World War III any fucking minute. Like, any minute at all.
Isn't that like, aren't we leading up to it anyways in regards to like economic collapse? Isn't that like a signal? Like usually that's like the key factor.
There's a lot of signals. Yeah, there's a lot of signals, especially with how our economy's going. The fact that we had a pandemic, it kind of happens around every major war. There's some sort of like health crisis in a nation. I mean, if we just look at some of the other steps that are being taken now, they're easing restrictions because they're trying to boost up the economy, which is what we would need to go into a conflict, right? Especially this one and this big. Back to what I was saying though about there being troops, equipment, rockets, jets in Poland, tanks sent to Romania, all those places. Like they're sending so much equipment over to like our Eastern allies in NATO that I think could trigger a war because that's exactly what Russia put on the table to start with. Like, don't do this, or there's going to be severe consequences for all of Europe, kind of thing. Yeah, so guys, this is really bad. On the second hand, China and Russia are very, I wouldn't say they're like close allies, but they're growing closer because of all this stuff that's been going on with America, Europe, like kind of pushing back on all the things that they've done throughout the years with sanctions and all that. So that's kind of made Russia and China like grow closer together, right? China is flying aircraft again over Taiwan airspace. They had a giant fleet of about 39 jets, which is like the most amount of jets they've ever sent in Taiwanese airspace, I guess. They've had that. There was a fucking the U.S. sold a F-37, like one of the big jet aircrafts to Taiwan. It crashed. Now there's a big hunt for this thing in the ocean. China's trying to find it. America's trying to find it. Taiwan's helping America trying to find this thing because they don't want it to
Probably an
get
F.
in.
Probably
you
an
know, China's hand.
F-35.
F-35. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Those
yeah,
things are fucking sick, dude. I've seen them like twice. They can take off like this.
I've seen
Like
them
those are the
like
ones that.
flying around the air around here because there's so many aircraft here.
Yeah.
They're gnarly. I seen those. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but
Do you want to know how
I
much
don't know how
the
that goes. but
helmets are?
How much
The
are the
pilots'
helmets?
helmets are per helmet, like $200,000
Oh my god!
per helmet,
Lined with gold.
just for the like F-35 pilots and shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but
That's crazy. I
I'm
know
pretty
the
sure I can
plane
say
is
that.
$100 million, right?
It's like something crazy. Yeah, per. Yeah, like a lot of people were like, this is the biggest waste of money we've ever spent on a aircraft because like what they did was they matched it with the F-22 or it was like the F-16 or something, but like they basically were matched up. Um, as far like something about the technology, like there's a more advanced technology on the F-35, but not by much. It's like I forget who made it. I think it was Lockheed, Lockheed Martin. But yeah, I mean it's I don't know, interesting.
Sorry. So yeah, the world is making a lot of big moves right now, everybody, and I think with the whole fact that America's kind of pushing back and doing exactly what Russia doesn't want, like that's going to trigger a lot of really bad things. A lot of people say that because the Winter Olympics is coming up, that in Beijing, uh, that Putin doesn't want to upset his good friend, Xi. But if we historically look back, whenever in 2008, whenever Beijing had the Summer Olympics, he attacked Georgia and invaded Georgia and took a whole bunch of land from Georgia, like opening day of the Olympics. After
Distraction.
Russia,
Yes, we might. Yeah, distractions, bro. I'm telling you, like and that's the thing. Everyone's so focused on fucking Ukraine and Russia. No, we need to watch China because they're gonna elaborate on what's going on.
they're gonna go for Taiwan immediately. If Russia attacks Ukraine, invades Ukraine, they're going to try to get Taiwan. I think there's no way they're not. Unless they want a weaker Russia, which just means like China will be like, yeah, America, go get Russia. We're going to step back for a second, wait until both of you are weakened from war, and then take our move wherever we want. That could be a thing, but I can see it more so going, the other way. And also, 2014, whenever Putin decided to take Crimea, that was right after the Olympics, like the day after the Olympics, that whole operation started. So I don't think these Olympic Games really deter him. He has an open window. Basically, the ground will not unthaw for the next 5 weeks, kind of. And with frozen ground, his tanks can roll easier. He can move in quicker. He can take the country, I think, 30 days if we don't help. And he's definitely going to roll on the other NATO alliances if he feels threatened, for sure. I really think that's going to happen. That's really, really shitty. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You
I
think I'm
it's,
right? You think it's possible?
Yeah, I was actually talking to my dad about this. He thinks that that China might just like kidnap all the Olympians and like hold them hostage.
That's
I mean-
that's bad look, but China also already holds, what, a million, some odd million, 30 million. I'm gonna say 30 million Uyghurs, because I don't know the real number, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past China. It would definitely be a strategic move. It would definitely cripple a lot of countries and make them pay out a lot of money or just do what they fucking want. Um, but I think that Russia, if they don't use the Olympics as a distraction, they'll wait until China goes for Taiwan.
But then the ground's going to be uh, thawed because like the best
Yeah.
opportunity for China to get
Yeah.
Taiwan happens to be like March, April-ish, and then the only other because the oceans are so calm here
Yeah.
during that time, and then
Yeah.
the only other time is like October-ish, whenever the oceans are really calm. So they have like those two windows during the year if they're going to go by sea. But I feel like Taiwan, if you don't know, is so close to China, you can like see the mainland almost. I think it's
Yeah.
a couple hundred miles. Like if you're standing on the closest island of Taiwan to the mainland of China, it's like less than 40. So
Aren't they building islands too? So like what's to stop them from like building an island out to Taiwan and then being like, "Hey, our soil's all of this now. Taiwan, that's us. That's that's
I wouldn't be
ours."
surprised. Yeah. Well, they build
Yeah.
islands, but they build them in like where the Philippines are, like on the border of that. They build them like out in the open ocean by like Vietnam, stuff like that. So a little bit more south. And they're just giant military bases. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, guys. And uh, what was upsetting to me was, I think, because Japan and America are such strong allies. Japan said, if Russia attacks, we're going to also impose like sanctions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna basically back our allies in this political war against Russia, and Russia was like, "Oh, fuck you, Japan! If you do that,
Oh,
you will suffer severe consequences." Is basically what they said, and it's like, "Fuck! I'm in Japan. I'm in Japan with a lot of Americans. That's two really bad things."
yeah, but like here's the thing, like you're in Okinawa, so like that's an island that maybe
Oh yeah, I don't think they would care.
they don't want to fuck with because
Yeah.
of the military presence. Because like how many bases are there? There's 2, right? Or 3?
There's like 35% of the island is base, man. It's ridiculous.
Right. But yeah. So how but there's like different bases, right? There's like a Marine, Air Force, like
Yeah,
There's a
there's
joint.
there's a giant air base. There's a navy like navy docking that kind of thing. There's docking, and there's like a marine base. There's just all sorts of stuff here. I
So you're probably
Can't keep track.
solid, bro.
There's bases on bases, man. There.
Yeah, probably.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean,
Would be a strategic target though, because if you could take out all the bases on Okinawa, that severely cripple our deployment in the South Pacific.
yeah, well, we still have mainland Japan with a lot of
Yeah.
personnel, but Guam, uh,
That and they'd have to get past all the naval ships too.
Yeah.
So
True.
good
Yeah.
luck.
yeah, it would. The only way they could do it is if they full on nuclear, right? I think
What's
that
I
would,
didn't
crazy
wanna-
though is like
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to put the idea out there, but yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Was just
Yeah.
IBM.
well, like
but I
well-
also think that we're close enough to mainland China that they wouldn't want to use nuclear devices, right? That's my opinion, but I don't know.
Depends which way the wind's blowing, Mark.
It would take all that radiation.
what's gonna be
up
interesting
mainland
is
Japan.
what'll be interesting is to see what weaponry reveals itself in desperation. So like we've got to have technology to which, okay, this is the like these are like, we'll pull this out if we need to. And I think there's going to be some instances
Right.
in a World War III situation where we need to pull out this badass
Ace.
railgun, or we need to pull out
Mhm.
this technology and shit. And it's like there was talk of like
Satellite
of course
missiles.
this is like completely like
Tungsten
it's science
rod.
fiction, and
Yeah.
like people talk about it all the time, but like invisibility on ships and shit. Like
Hmm.
there's talks of like
Active
some
cloaking.
technology that's like crazy. Yeah, some crazy shit that's like
Like
be
like
wild.
the fucking plane from Spider-Man 2. No, Spider-Man 1 Homecoming. They had that fucking plane that as soon as it got up on the air, like it turned on a bunch of cameras, and the entire outside of the plane was screens that just projected cameras from the other side, and it like actively cloaked it as it flew through the sky.
Hmm.
And
Well,
Gotta
stuff like
have
that.
something.
If we
Yeah.
talk about things that seem science fiction that are actually real, there is cloaking devices that can go over, like, I guess this really works for like thermal and night vision, but we'll go over like vehicles. So they'll disguise the vehicle as like a truck, just a regular pickup truck that, and the thermal outline will be like the engine and that cab area and stuff like that. It'll just look like maybe a truck with a guy in it or something like that. They have that technology. They've talked about it on where did I see that at? It was like Future Weapons or something like that. It was
Yeah.
really
You know
I
what
was-
I remember from
yeah,
Future Weapons? The corner shot.
what do you
It was literally like an AR, but it was just a Glock in the very front of it, and it had like a little handle that you went down and like could turn it left or right, and it would have a little camera on it so you could shoot around corners. It was on
Oh,
Future
Jesus.
Weapons, and then like I never heard about it ever again.
It sounds dope though. Maybe
have,
hard
like,
to mass produce.
They have like personnel jetpacks and shit for like Navy SEAls now. They've been
I've
using.
seen that. That looks ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
You seen the one where the
So
guy
cool.
is like on the boat and he flies up onto the ship?
Yeah,
That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
it's like we knew it
Now
was gonna
imagine-
happen one day, but
yeah. It's kind of like that old saying of like any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, but that works backwards too. Of like it won't be science fiction forever.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
It's like science fiction is like how we express where we want our technology to go.
well,
And
like,
then
do you
when
guys
it eventually
remember?
gets there.
I don't even know if you guys know this, but like, do you guys remember the nuke incidents all around the world where like something shut down all the nuclear reactors for like basically like the Air Force, the place in England, basically like a place that holds nukes. There's a place in Russia, something, and they of course they alluded to higher beings like aliens or something that like are actively stopping uh, the capability of nukes being able to be used. So like they'll deactivate them.
That's
Did you
weird.
guys see that?
I did not.
This happened like in the 2000s ish or something, but like there's like documented incidences of this happening where like they'll just and they can't figure out why they'll just be turned off and shit.
Yeah.
It's like
I wouldn't
Weird.
be surprised if like there is some sort of agency out there that realizes, the use of these is so devastating that yeah, we can have them, we can say that we're going to use them, but we really can't use them nowadays because it's just we'll destroy literally everything. We can't use them.
So you think maybe there's
On the
like
other
some
hand-
shadow organization out there just turning them off?
Yeah. I feel like that would be like some sort of MI6, CIA, co-op, super agents that are doing that, but they're all on computers probably.
well like
you'd
when they
hope
were
they
talking
James
about
Bonds, but they're just like basement trolls.
when they were talking about it, it was do you guys know the Dr. Greer? Like Stephen Greer, I think his name is, but he's like a huge. He made that documentary Acknowledged. It's about like UFOs and aliens and all that shit. Well, there was sightings above the bases of UFOs and shit, and then when this
Oh.
happened, So that's like what
Wild.
they were alluding to, is like that they came down and they're like, they're messing with our technology so we don't use it. Like, it's interesting because there's one in England and there's one in the US that it happened. And I think in Russia, it happened to Russia as well. And they're like, no one can explain it, I guess. So,
Wild.
I remember
Speaking,
whenever
go ahead.
before we
Yeah,
get
Mark.
off nukes, I remember
Yeah.
two things I want to talk about. One is back like at the height, I guess. Well, maybe not the height of the Cold War, but a really tense part of the Cold War. Whenever Tricky Dick was in office, he wouldn't even, during the practice runs for launching nukes at Russia, he wouldn't press the button. He said, "I couldn't do that. I couldn't kill millions of people in an instant. I
Yeah.
couldn't drive the world to do that." Even in the practice run, where they've already nuked America, on the flip side, Russia, they wouldn't even do that. They also said, like, I can't do that. I can't be a part of ending millions of lives in the press of a button, even in this practice run. So I think that's a little like humanity has shown itself to be conscious, to like understand more, to realize we can't use these. Secondhand, with with our satellites nowadays, part of the satellite like don't militarize space program or whatever, you can't put nukes in space on satellites. If you didn't know that, now you know. But they can use kinetic weapons, and they're like 500 times more
Devastating.
deadly than nuclear
Without the
devices.
radiation.
Without the radiation, yeah, I was gonna say that.
Like a big
And-
tungsten rod that they just went.
Yeah, they just fire it to
Yeah.
the earth, and it could destroy
Yeah.
huge amounts of Europe.
You don't
Huge
even need to
amounts.
put much force behind it. It'll get so much from coming in through gravity.
Mhm.
Boom. Yeah, it's wild. But speaking of aliens, this is kind of wild. NASA just hired 24 theologians to create a panel to discuss how different religions around the world would react to a first contact scenario. So NASA hired people to be like, hey, if we find aliens,
How are we
are
gonna break
people
it to
gonna
them?
react to that? Yeah. How's that
Yeah.
gonna go down? Which is kind of like, what the hell, NASA? Is there something you're not telling us?
Well,
Yeah.
goddamn, the archaeological studies and diggings that have revealed that there's been contact before by higher beings is so prevalent that there's no question that we've been visited at all. There's like, I don't think anybody questions that at all. Like the past, all the stuff. Like I don't
I
like
think a
the
lot of
fucking
people
show,
question it, but
but ancient. I don't like
I
this
think
show, but Ancient Aliens, like that's a big show that like they always come to the conclusion of like this is the guy with the fucking hair and he's like aliens. But like he is always talking about these civilizations new, right? You know, they talk about the fire breathing dragons. Well, what about like fire coming from an exhaust of a UFO? Like, you know, they always like allude to they always
Yeah.
tie it in like some patchy way, which I don't like, but they do have a good point. Why are there so many monolithic structures? Why are there so many mounds that, when viewed from above, you see a picture or a painting like the Snake River or the Snake Mound or, you know, the pyramids?
Those fucking
all
lines
sorts-
in Brazil.
I think I know what you're talking about. But there's
Nazca
like
lines.
all these
The Nazca, it's like an ant, a sloth, not a sloth, but like here I'll put a picture in the video right now of the Nazca lines. It's like these are like you can't tell what they are unless you're like thousands and thousands of feet in the air. And a lot of them like some of them don't look like anything, you know. Most of them look like, you know, creatures like there's a monkey,
Animal.
a bird, yeah, ant, you know, spider. But a couple of them, honestly, this one I'm looking at right now looks like a freaking circuit board.
Yeah, which actually, if you look at like how a circuit board works, and you can take it back to like Egypt times where they talk about how the pyramids were basically a channel for electricity. Like it makes sense. It's like, what if this
Yeah.
Earth is just one big motherboard with a lot of circuits on it and a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
different
mean,
aspects.
then you
but-
think about the fact that they painted those hieroglyphs in the dark. No char from torches, no ashes. no
yeah,
burn
yeah, that's right.
marks, Just
Yeah,
just clean walls covered in paint.
See, that's what
How'd
I'm-
that happen?
That's what I'm fascinated by is all the things that we can't explain. Like even with modern technology, we can't, carve this kind of stone this well or in
Like
this
the crystal
manner.
skull.
or
Yeah.
the Ben Ben pyramid. Have you guys seen those? Or I think there's multiple of them. There's like 3, but they're made out of a unique meteorite, but they're cut like a pyramid, and they're small. They're probably about the size of a doghouse, and it's like they're cut perfect. Like look up Ben Ben pyramid, Jed,
Yep.
and they're made of a
Jed!
certain meteor. Shut up.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
They're made of like a. Yeah, read the description. There's got to be a description, right, of the Ben
All right,
Ben.
here, I'll go back. I was looking at images. I'll go back to Ben Wikipedia, because you can always trust Wikipedia.
For the most part.
Remember whenever they said, "Don't look at Wikipedia," back in the day. Don't get all your report off Wikipedia because it would
Yeah.
write your assignment for you.
Yeah.
Ben stone, named after the mound, was a sacred stone in the temple of Ra at Heliopolis, at Heliopol in Egyptian Anur Inu. It was the location on which the first rays of the sun fell. It is thought to have been the prototype for later obelisks and capstones for the Great Pyramids were based on its design. The capstone on the tip of the pyramid is also called a pyramidion. Pyramidion, yeah, okay. They were usually gilded, so they're shown in the sunlight. Doesn't really tell me what it's made out of.
Well, it was made out of a foreign material from space. It was like made out of some meteorite, and it basically there was no way to make it in that location or really any location possible around the area. So it's like it came from,
A big
or it was
chunk
made
of
from something that fell. Yeah, but they can't find anything close to the material it was made out of, which is pretty interesting.
I mean, we have so many mysteries, we can't explain. Like, especially we can look at Egypt and we're like, oh my God, how have we lost so much technology, right? Or look at the Sphinx. The Sphinx has like water lines or like water damage on it,
Yeah,
and they're like, wait a second, this disproves everybody's theory right now. What's going on here?
right. John Anthony West is the younger Dryas. Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of archaeologists are still trying to like keep that from blowing
Seeing
up,
light of
but
day.
like Joe Rogan had John Anthony West on there. He's had Graham Hancock, who wrote multiple books. I actually have a book of his. The way that the pyramids are set up, the way the Sphinx looks to I think it's the North Star, the longitude, latitude. It's all very
The Temple of the Three Kings aligning with Orion,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
because it has like that huge opening in the sky on the way in between like the two pillars with all the kings on the other side, and you can look up and it. No, it's not the. Orion lines up with the tips of the pyramids. The hallway of the gods or whatever. It's like perfectly lined up with the Milky Way, like the streak of like gases in our solar system that you can only see on like a really clear night with no light pollution. It like perfectly lines up in the Temple of the Kings. It's wild. I'll see if I can pull a picture of that too.
Gnarly. I mean,
Yeah.
all of those ancient, like all of our ancient civilizations that we've seen through the years, they all studied the stars. Like we can look back at that through their calendars. That's how they tracked a lot of things, the rotation of the Earth.
definitely.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to like. Okay, we can see that they were already interested in that, why they would build something that way, but then at the same time, it's like, how in the world did they build this thing, though? You know, like these numbers just don't make any sense. Like
Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to Graham Hancock, there was an advanced civilization, more advanced than this. They just didn't care so much about. They were very in tune with the soul and the spirit, and they weren't so focused on material objects like us as individuals are.
Yeah.
I guess they were very like wholesome and just like the he always talks about Atlantis and that it's a real place and it was the Mecca. It was the most advanced civilization that there was, and then there's
Maybe they
there's
didn't.
some story.
Yeah.
Yeah, something happened. I
Great
think it
flood.
had to do with the Younger Dryas and the Great Flood, and then it came, and then it, which in return takes you back to the Sphinx and the pyramid and why it's dated much. It's dated further back than what they're telling us. Even from the archaeological digs, they're like, this is not. This is way older than what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's just interesting. Like, what else has been covered up by catastrophic events, that we don't know? Graham Hancock talks a lot about that. Like, I can listen to that guy forever because he's got like a nice foreign accent. It's like European. Couldn't tell you which country, but
Mm.
he's like very well spoke, educated.
He's well spoke.
He speak good.
He speak good. Good speak. Good speak well. Well, boys, that's about all I got today. Freaking wild conversation turned there at the end, huh? We just went really into the alien route. And honestly, I would not be surprised if we see it in the next few years here that we actually get some kind of contact, some definitive declaration saying we have had contact with another, And the thing is like, we have all these sites and all these research centers that are looking up at the sky with telescopes, with radio scopes, X-ray scopes, all these different kind of scopes. We're scoping space, trying to find the smallest signal that would prove that we're not alone out here. But what a lot of people don't realize is even if we got one of those signals, it would be so old. That civilization might have died already.
We did get some sort of what was it? We had some sort of electric pulse that was going through recently. Did you see
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that was that's weird.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to explain what it is, but it's happening on a pattern. It's some sort of electric pulse through space that they've been able to pick up. Interesting.
There's the I can't remember what the theory is called, but it's basically a theory that says the fact that we haven't encountered an alien species yet is all the proof we need to say if there is or not. Because the idea is that if we ever did get a signal, by the time we got it, that species will have either gone extinct or had sufficient technology to reach us before the signal did. Because of how far away it would come from, right? So I can't remember exactly all the details of the theory, but it basically says that every day that goes by that we don't experience some kind of first contact is further proof that it's not going to happen. Like a higher percentage that it won't happen, and it's already like crazy high because of this.
Well, would they? How do you know
Theory.
though that it's crazy high? It's just what you've been told. It's what they've told us.
It's the theory by the mathematics
It's
of the
the theory.
theory. That's by the mathematics of the theory. The probability of us experiencing that event is already very low, and every day that goes
That
by,
is
it gets
based on
lower.
what we've been told.
The theory, yes.
Right.
However, it does not take into account a sufficiently advanced alien species to evade all of our detection capabilities and silently watch over us until we're ready for them.
Yeah.
That sounds a little bit nicer. I don't mind being, just what's a good word? Like, they're not testing us or anything, but they're just observing
Waiting.
us.
Yeah,
Waiting.
there's like not yet. They're still fighting with sticks against each other for no reason.
Yeah.
They need to figure themselves out before we can give them us. You know?
They've created some weird sort of government where they tell them rules and say
For
that
real.
they can't do stuff. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I saw one that was like, it was like a filter of some dude. He was just like, you know, filming himself back and forth. But one of the characters he was portraying had like an alien filter on. And he was like, wait. You guys use math to go to space? They're like, yeah. They're like, you teach it to your kids? What's wrong with you? Math is terrible. He's like never seen math before. He's like, how could you have possibly gotten here on a rocket ship without math? He's like, you just explode some stuff until you get up to space. It's not that hard. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe. It is for us, though, and we do the math. It was just such a funny
And
little
on a
interaction.
strong note.
Right.
And on a strong note. I like, had to be there. That's okay, Jed. I like it,
Yeah.
though. Like,
But yeah, everybody, thanks for coming, thanks for watching, thanks for joining us, thanks for listening to us ramble on about the world at large and what we hope the future might bring and what we fear the future might bring and what we think's going on in the world today. If you want to hear some more of us, check out our playlists on YouTube. Check out our audio only availability. It's going to be in the description below. You can find all the links you need for whatever audio podcast platform you use. Looking forward, we're going to have a guest on the first Saturday of February. That's pretty locked down, pretty for sure about that one. We got Christian in the wings somewhere whenever he's got time for us. We got some other guests coming up soon. We're in the talks to some people. Nothing to be too excited about, but it's always nice to have a fresh face here to give us a different perspective on the world and their neck of the woods. If you like what we're doing here, hey, show your support. Give us a like rating. That lets YouTube know that we're doing something right, and they promote us to more people. If you want to continue to see our content, make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to be notified, you can ring that notification bell, and that'll notify you every time we post up a new video. Usually once a week. Anything else, boys?
today's my
Stay
father-in-law's birthday. I'm gonna go eat some steak.
Oh,
Have
nice.
a good
Happy
one.
birthday. Happy
Nakamura-san.
birthday to him.
Yeah,
Nakamura-san.
yeah. He'll appreciate that.
Does he watch
I'll
our
let him
videos?
No.
He's like,
No,
nah, that shit's
English.
stupid. He's like, oh, we do not watch such stupid shit on our fucking television.
Oh, this is a what's the time?
He just discovered YouTube
Waste of time.
a couple months ago, and he's in
Yeah.
love with it. So he,
Oh, dude, show him the podcast till all numbers are skyrocket.
oh, maybe.
Shit.
It's so funny because I was ready to watch some like New Year's shows for New Year's, and he's like, "No, regular TV's trash now. I'm never going back." I love it.
Honestly, yeah. Most of what I watch is YouTube these days, and then I'll just go to like streaming services for my shows
Yeah.
and movies that come out and stuff. Other than that, I pretty much just stick right to YouTube.
That's dope. All right. Oh, everybody,
All right.
before we go,
Till next time.
Skeptic Soap launching maybe
Soon.
March, right? Just keep it in the back of your
Soon,
head.
sometime
everybody.
like after tax season.
Yeah. Build the hype. The hype
Fucking
will
taxes,
come.
but I got
Skeptic Soap on
these
the way.
came in today. These came in.
Oh, take a
They're
picture of them.
nice.
Put it
They're
up
little
so everybody can see it really good.
corrugated boxes, and on the back I put a little "Stay skeptical."
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
can't
It's
wait.
gonna be great.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get my product testing. I'm almost out of soap, so it can't come soon enough. But I patiently waiting. A little less than patiently. But yeah. Look forward to that, everybody. Look forward to our guests coming soon. And we'll see you here next week or whenever you got time for us. Bye.
Later. Bye.